This is part 2, reaction to Coach Prime's 60-minute interview, JSU not happy, and I don't blame him. This is the part 2 to this series that I've put together about Coach Prime. And basically, I wanted to kind of go over how Jon Wertheim, the interviewer from 60 Minutes, he was interviewed on another sports show regarding his 60-minute interview with Deion Sanders. And he kind of let insight into how he felt about Coach Prime or Deion Sanders leaving JSU. So I just want everybody to understand this is just not, I know people tend to look at folk who criticize Deion Sanders for leaving JSU for whatever reasons he says he left. But people are looking at the hypocrisy. Even the interviewer in this interview where he's questioned about the two different interviews with Coach Prime, he even points to the hypocrisy. And you can look at his body language and his facial expressions as to how he feels about the answers. It's like his mouth is answering one way, but if you study his body language, you can kind of look at him and see that he sees the hypocrisy in a lot of the things that Deion Sanders told him in one 60-minute interview. And then on the second 60-minute interview, it was completely different. And I wanted to probably I kind of thought about putting those in the same video, but no. I had to break those up because you needed to see the difference. But anyway, upon saying that, I found another article that I wanted to quickly go over because all of these people, I've heard that Colorado is now America's black team. And I want you all to understand that all that stuff that Deion said in one of his press conferences or post press conferences after, I believe it was the TCU game, where he said that he was coaching an African-American, a predominantly African-American team, and that was scary to the powers that be. I want you to read I'm going to read a quick article to you. And this is some of the things that he said on First Take game day before the Colorado State game. It says Deion Sanders has a shocking message for the black community. See, I guess it's shocking for you guys, but if you already know that Coach Prime is in it for himself, then it shouldn't shock you. It says this ain't no black thing. This ain't no white thing. This is a we thing. Now, isn't that different than the message that post-press conference where he was unapologetically black? Isn't that different? Let me read a little bit to you on this. It's safe to say that Deion Sanders has turned some heads this offseason as he has already exceeded his expectations at the Colorado Buffalo. But even though he is a black man having success as a head coach, he made it pretty clear he's not just doing this for the black community. Let everybody hear that. So when all of you people run around and say that people are hating on Deion because he's doing this for black folks and black coaches and he's opening up all these doors for black people, understand that is a lie that you've been told. And it's a lie that you bought. You bought that bill of groceries from Deion Sanders. All right. So you shouldn't be mad at anybody else for criticizing and seeing through this facade that this man has put up. During his appearance on First Take on Friday, Deion Sanders was asked if he had thought about what kind of impact he was having on the black community with his success at Colorado. Remember, he went to Colorado to open doors for black men or black coaching. And Sanders had a pretty surprising answer. This man has I want you to go back. I got a video on Coach Prime. I said the many changing faces of Coach Prime, right? And this is, like they say, his answer was surprising. No, to no one, I get. Well, I shouldn't say this. It was surprising to certain people, but to me, it wasn't. I don't, because I don't have time to think about that. Now, I didn't have time to think about it, but he thought about it the first game to tell you he was an African-American coach. I have time to focus on kicking down the doors and blowing the doors up so we can all come in. Now, who is the we? He's going to tell you. I don't care what ethnicity I mean, so we can all come in and unite. Now, he went from Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, didn't he? He went from week to week. Now he was unapologetically black. Now he's all encompassing. All right. Look around at this man. This ain't no black thing. This ain't no white thing. This is a we thing. That's what this is. And that's what I've been called to Boulder to do, to make it a we thing. So now he's making it a we thing. Now he's in Boulder, he's making it a we thing. It's not a black thing anymore. Or maybe it never was. It's always been a Dion thing. Sanders explained that his experience leading the team has not been about race. Oh my God. Just go back and look at the change in faces of Dion. But about uniting all Colorado fans. When I walked out there and I missed the whole intro. I wanted to see our Buffalo run out there. I wanted to see all that. And I didn't get to see all of that when we came out, Sanders said. But I looked in the stands and it wasn't a white crowd or a black crowd. It was a Buffalo crowd. That's what it was. Now, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see with the hypocrisy in this man? And see, maybe because you get mad at Jason Whitlock, he's a hater. He's a crab in a bucket. But maybe when I pull this video up in the upcoming of Jon Wertheim, the reporter from 60 Minutes who's white, who asked him who sees the hypocrisy in what he says, maybe then you'll see it, because it seems like a lot of liberal black folks, they don't understand, so-called black folks, they don't see it when a black person points out the hypocrisies, but they'll see it when a Caucasian man points it out. So let's move on in this video. Jon Wertheim is going to be asked the same question that he asked Dion in this particular interview. Did you finish the mission that you started at Jackson State? And I want you to understand something here. This man his mouth is saying something, but if you know body language in his eyes, they're saying something completely different. And even when he's answering the question, he double talks himself so that he doesn't get into the crosshairs of all these Dion lovers. He doesn't want to be there. He just wants to kind of say he wants to really tell you something else, but he's staying on code. And I want you to just look at his body language and how this kind of all looks. Just look at it.
The job was accomplished at Jackson State. Like, why leave? And I think he said, I've done what I was supposed to do. Were you satisfied with that answer, that this is why he had done everything? What was the mission at Jackson State?
You see how he looked? You see how he looked?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a lot last year. He sort of said, look, I'm not one of these climber coaches that wants to make it up the ladder, and I don't need the money. He really leaned into the mission. And he'd never been to Jackson, Mississippi. He went there, he was very moved. Here was this historically black school, and he talked a lot about how players that come here, Travis Hunter, they would be part of setting a different path. This wasn't just, hey, this is the best school that's recruiting me for the fattest NIL deal. He really leaned into the mission. The city was going through a water crisis. I mean, I can't describe, I can't exaggerate how big a deal this was.
Notice how he's saying Dion kept leaning into the mission.
In Jackson, Mississippi. I mean, honestly, he kind of tiptoed around it. I think he got a bit frustrated.
He said Dion tiptoed around it. That's his way of saying he didn't answer the question. See, he doesn't think Dion is very genuine in what he's doing either. That's why he's kind of tiptoeing around what he's saying about Dion.
I think not everyone has his drive and ambition, and I think he sort of at some point sort of threw up his hands and said, I've done all I can do here. But yeah, I mean, it's not, we've seen this all the time, right? I mean, what coach doesn't want a better job? We all know that you go from school A to school B. He positioned himself of, look, I don't need to be playing this game. I don't care what they're paying me. It's pocket change to me anyway. This is about something much bigger than getting to the next big college football job.
See what he said? He positioned himself much differently. He said it's not about another college job. It's not about this. It's about the mission. It's about helping young, quote unquote, African-American kids grow and be men. And it's about helping the greater good of the HBUs and their programs. So that's why, that's what people see. They see the hypocrisy in it. And that's why I was saying it's not a crabs in a bucket thing. It's not nobody, the naysayers or the people that are giving him criticism. They're not saying that they didn't want Deion to go on and be a successful coach and make more money. The thing is, he sold a bill of goods to people. And then when they called him out on it, he started saying how they were crabs in a bucket and they didn't want to see a black man succeed and all this nonsense. Well, this is a white man. This is a Caucasian man. And he kind of felt the same way other people felt about the way Deion left Jackson State and the things that he said upon leaving Jackson State. So I just wanted you to see that. I got another video coming.
I was impressed at Jackson when I saw the level of his involvement, not just with sort of play calling and practice, but he knew which kids came from single parent homes and which didn't. I mean, he knows who transferred from where. This kid's a junior, but he's got sophomore eligibility. He really knows this team.
You know, it's what Jon Wertheim said. He said that Deion had what he liked and what he saw at Jackson State. He saw a special relationship between the player and coach at Jackson State. It seemed like he had a greater mission for those kids. He knew how to talk to them. He knew about their situations. He knew how much eligibility they had. He knew they came from single parent households. He knew how to motivate them and talk to them. Yet I bet you he couldn't even pick the Colorado players if they were sitting in a police lineup. I mean, just ask him. Ask him any of the so-called white players or the Caucasian players' names in Colorado. See what answers you get.
Can you talk about Hank Zelinkas? He was a true freshman that got to start today as Hank Zelinkas. Start today as Hank Zelinkas. Start today as Hank Zelinkas. Can you talk about Hank Zelinkas? He was a true freshman that got to start today at center. Hank
Zelinkas. Come on, Coach Prime. The guy that hikes the ball to your son, the quarterback of the team, Shedeur Sanders. Hank Zelinkas. Come on, Vince Lombardi. I know you know who Hank Zelinkas is. Come on, suspect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Surely you know who Hank Zelinkas is, Deion. He's joking with y'all. He knows who Hank Zelinkas is. He's just thinking another Hank right now. He'll explain the Hank he's thinking about, I guess. But he's thinking about another Hank.
Center Hank.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Hank.
Yeah, he got the start as a true freshman today.
Several different Hanks.
Talk about him.
This man says he knows a lot of Hanks. Boy, look at that bewildered look. He knows a lot of Hanks. I wonder if they was a question. Hey, what Hanks do you know? Hank Aaron. This man don't know any more Hanks than anybody else knows. He's just bewildered and befuddled that you even ask him about the center, because you know all white people look alike. So he probably didn't know who the hell Hank is. And by the way, Deion, Hank is the third suspect in the chart.
I was impressed at Jackson when I saw the level of his involvement, not just with sort of play calling and practice, but he knew which kids came from single parent homes and which didn't. I mean, he knows who transferred from where. This kid's a junior, but he's got sophomore eligibility. He really knows this.
Deion, do you think you could possibly get your Caucasian players' names and maybe their positions, by memory, maybe by the USC game? Oh no, that might be too. Maybe you could get it by the UCLA game.
About it.
It's hard.
Yeah, I know. They all look alike to me too. So just do the best you can. I know. Just do the best you can.
It's hard.
Hopefully it's easier for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share than it is for him to remember the Caucasian players and their positions on his own Colorado Buffaloes team.
It's hard.